Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, D&J Reads. I'm Danielle, and today I'm going to be bringing you all of the July new releases that I'm really excited for, as well as my TBR. So I can't believe the year is half over already. July is going to be starting, and I am very excited for some of these books that are coming out this month. Actually, one of my most anticipated books of the year is coming out, and I'm going to be talking about that one first. So first up, on July 2nd, we have The Undermining of Twyla and Frank by Bannen. This is a heartwarming friends to lovers rom-com with a twist. So this is a fantasy set in the world of Tanria, and Twyla and Frank are both middle-aged marshals. They are out protecting the world from all of the dangerous things that can go on. The world, though, has gotten a little bit safer, so there's not much going on from them. But at some point, they come across a dead marshal, and they need to figure out what went wrong. Frank finds himself becoming the inadvertent foster dad to a new baby dragon, and things go from there. Soon the friends find themselves entangled in a nefarious plot, and as danger closes in, Twyla and Frank's friendship becomes a little bit more complicated. They start to realize that maybe their true soulmate lived next door all along. I am so excited for this one. The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy was one of my favorite books the year it came out, and I have the Fairy Loot edition pre-ordered, and I am just so excited to get to this one. Then on July 9th, we have The Game Changer by Lana Ferguson. She is the author of The Fake Mate, which I really enjoyed, so I'm very excited to pick up her next book. This one follows a hockey player and a baker. So after a very public breakup that has jeopardized his team's image, Ian just wants to focus on the game, but that has been very hard for him, and he is not able to do that. Delilah is a baker who has her own cable show, but ratings have been down recently, so she comes up with an idea. Her brother plays on Ian's team as well, so she wants to work together with the team and bring a little bit of publicity to both of them. The team thinks this is a great idea and sends Ian over to her, but little do they know, Delilah has had a crush on Ian since she was little. Them teaming up seems to be working really well. Delilah's TV numbers are up, and everybody is looking at Ian in a more positive light. With more than just their careers on thin ice, the line between what's real and what's fake for the show begins to blur, and this PR stunt will either be a game changer or leave them both pucked. This one sounds really good. I love a hockey romance, and I'm really excited for it. Then on July 11th, Not Your Business by Jillian Rink comes out, and this is book 2 in the Serendipity Omegaverse. You don't have to read book 1 first, but it is advised since they do show up in this book, and there is a novella called Beta that you should also read before you pick this one up, just to get a little bit more backstory on the characters in this. But this one follows Violet, and after a bad heat, she decides that she is going to agree to let the council find a pack for her. She's determined to make the best of it, even though she does not want to be doing this, and she ends up running into an alpha that has helped her out during her heats previously. Also, she runs into a beta who she has a fraught backstory with. They are a pack and end up starting to court her. One of their packmates, though, does not want to be doing this and makes it very, very hard for them. She knows this matching is probably going to end in heartbreak, but she ends up going through with it anyway. You definitely should check trigger warnings for this one if you're going to read it. The trigger warnings are going to be in the back of the book, though, so just know that going in. This one was a great read. I've actually already read it because I had an arc of it, and I highly suggest this if you do like Omegaverses. Also on July 11th, Play Along by Liz Tomforde comes out. This is book 4 in the Windy City series. This follows Kennedy, who is the only woman on the staff for the Windy City Warriors. She's actually trying to leave the team next year for a better position. She doesn't want to have to deal with the sexist doctor on the team anymore, so she knows she just needs to last one more season before she gets out. But a run-in in Las Vegas finds her waking up with a ring on her finger and having to deal with everything that follows. Isaiah is the shortstop for the team and has been crushing on Kennedy for as long as she's been there. He's just as surprised as her when he wakes up with a ring on his finger, and they agree to stay married for the season to not jeopardize either of their careers. But he's going to be using his time with her to prove that he is husband material. Kennedy may be reluctant to play along in their little game, but this is one that Isaiah will not lose. I love the Windy City series. They are great sports romances, so if that's what you're looking for, definitely pick this series up. Then next up on July 23rd is Do Me a Favor by Cathy Yardley. This follows a widowed cookbook writer and a divorced handyman, and they find that it's never too late for a fresh start. Willa has been struggling ever since her husband's death, so she ends up moving from California to the Pacific Northwest, where she meets Hudson, who's living on his family's farm with his parents and 2 children. Hudson is the opposite of everything she's ever known, and he inspires her. They both may have their own pasts to deal with, but now they have to figure out if they can make a future together. I've only read one other book by Cathy Yardley, but I gave it 5 stars, so I have really high hopes for this one as well. Then on July 25th comes Excess by Colette Rhodes. This is book 2 in the On the Shelf Omegaverse series. This one doesn't have any sort of summary or anything, so I really don't know much about it. I just know I've read book 1 and I really enjoyed it, so book 2 is definitely high up on my list. And I love a good Omegaverse, so I'm ready for it. Then on July 25th comes Twisted Lace by A.M. McCoy, and this is book 2 in Beauty in the Ink series. This is a series following polyamorous romances that center around a tattoo shop. This one follows Lex, Hannah, Brody, and Knox. Lex is considered emo Barbie in their store, and she is one of the better tattoo artists there. One of the guys from the previous book hires Hannah to do an article on her, and Lex is intrigued. Hannah, though, ends up with Brody and Knox starting a little thing. Lex, though, has been considered a lesbian, but Hannah has just come out as bisexual. Lex has surprised herself, though, because when she sees Hannah with Brody and Knox, she is fascinated. Lex originally wants to use Hannah's newfound bisexuality to steal her from the men, but in the end, she thinks she might want them all to be together. This sounds so good. I love a polyamorous romance. The first one in the series was amazing, so I was so excited when I saw that another one was coming out in this series. So that's it for all the new releases that are coming out in July. There's not too many of them this month, which is good because I still need to catch up from some of the previous months in the year. But next, I'm going to talk about some of the physical books that I have on my TBR for this month. So first up, I have Not All That Glitters by Devyn Sinclair. This is book 2 in the Slate City Omegaverse. Book 1 was on my June TBR and I read that and loved it, so I'm very excited to go on to book 2. This follows the daughter of one of Slate City's famous politicians. Everything in her life has been meticulously planned for her, and she ends up in a closet one day with an alpha who makes her mouth water. She finds out, though, that this alpha is to be her new bodyguard. She does not think that this is going to work out, but the alpha does not care what her parents say. Him and his pack just want her. She wants to break out of the cage that she's in, and she's hoping that these alphas will help her. This sounds really good, and I'm very excited for it. Next up on my TBR is The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. This one follows Marigold. She's always preferred the company of spirits to any of the suitors who have tried to woo her. Her grandmother whisks her away to a tiny isle to pretty much offer her a job as the next Honey Witch. She accepts immediately, but something you need to know about the Honey Witch is that nobody can fall in love with them. When Lottie Burke, a notoriously grumpy skeptic who doesn't believe in magic, shows up on her doorstep, Marigold can't resist the challenge to show Lottie that magic is real. Marigold begins to care for Lottie in a way she never expected, and when darker magic awakens and threatens to destroy her home, she must fight for much more than her new home at the risk of losing her magic and her heart. This one sounds really good, and I'm hoping to read this when Fairy Loot does their read-along. And then next up is Nectar of the Wicked by Ella Fields. I also want to read this when Fairy Loot does their read-along, but this one says, "For 20 years, I've been an unwanted changeling, until an irresistibly wicked fairy begins a seductive game of cat and mouse. I am his prey, a perfect pet. He offers a trade. He will take me to the fairy realm to assist in my search for the truth of who I am. In return, I must agree to marry him, but things are not as they seem. And soon after arriving at his wintry manor, I begin to unravel a dangerous web of lies. Far deadlier still, I'm falling in love with the monster who has no heart." So excited for this. It will be nice to read a wintry book in the summer, seeing as it is so hot now, and I am not a summer girl. Winter all the way. And lastly on my TBR for this month is Throne of the Fallen by Kerri Maniscalco. I know the next book in the series is coming out soon, so I wanted to pick this one up and read it before that one came out, so I would know if I wanted to pick up a copy of that one as well. But this one follows a wicked prince, a fallen painter, and a deadly game. The Prince of Envy has never claimed to be a saint, but when a cryptic note arrives at his demon court, signaling the beginning of a deadly game, he knows it will take more than a hint of sin to win. Camilla is an artist with troubles of her own. A desperate mistake has landed her in debt to a notorious rake. Threatened with ruinous scandal, she is forced to enter a devil's bargain with Envy. Together, Envy and Camilla must embark on a perilous journey through the underworld, from glittering demon courts to the sultry vampire realm and beyond, while trying to avoid the most dangerous trap of all: falling in love. I've heard really good things about this one, and I'm very excited to pick this up. But those are just some of the books that I'm really excited to be picking up in July, and I hope to get to all of them. If not, I will definitely get to all of them before the end of the year. In the comments below, let me know one of the books that you're really excited to pick up in July, and I will see you next time. Bye!